So I need to do this video because a lot of people are still uncertain about the Milwaukee Bucks. And for some reason, they're still assuming the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be the same that they were last season. Despite being the number 2 seed, they see that as they're going to be whack. They're going to suck. And they don't need to worry about them at all. They look at Doc Rivers. They're like, he's not winning another championship. They look at Giannis and they go, he might be getting old. They look at Dame and they're like, oh man, he couldn't shoot last year. And they think Milwaukee is going to be hurt. Well, let me tell y'all something. It's not going to take much for them to turn all of that theory about what they're going to be next season around. And it's going to be centered around Damian Lillard. I want to dive into that in this video. But before I do, this video is being brought to you by Bridges and Stones Family and Relationship Care. If you or someone you know is struggling with their mental health, go to www.bridgesandstones.com and schedule your free consultation today. One small act today can create a better tomorrow. You know, many times we look at a team and we look at a player, and sometimes it's easy to get caught looking at a player or a team in a vacuum. We get recency bias and we go look at what they are and we forget the full story. We forget just how dominant a team has been. But I want to center this conversation around one player, Damian Lillard. You see, Damian Lillard has been a beast his entire career. His entire career. He has been the leader of one of the most efficient offenses throughout that career for the Portland Trail Blazers because of his efficiency as an offensive force, as an offensive fulcrum. Now, I know it's had its limitations. It hasn't been able to get to more than one Western Conference Finals. It hasn't been able to get to the NBA Finals or win a championship, and that's why he's in Milwaukee. But let's be clear, he had a lot of personal things going on last season, along with a huge adjustment from being in one city, in one state, his entire career for over, I want to say 12, 13 seasons. And all of a sudden, he's in Milwaukee, across the country, completely different environment, new team, new staff, new routine. I think his family stayed in Portland for the school year, right? There's a whole lot of transition. And one thing that veteran players tell you that bodes well for their consistency is having consistency in their life. They know their schedule and routine. When they're coming home, taking a nap between practice and workouts and training sessions and seeing the training staff and getting treatment done and having their meals and knowing where they're going to get their meals from and what they're going to be eating, when they're going to be eating, right? What they're going to expect in terms of taking care of the kids and tucking them in and checking on their school and spending time with their significant other. All these different things maintain a routine that allows great players and veteran players to show up consistently. And all of a sudden, you yank all that out. There's going to be a curve. There's going to be an adjustment period. And I think we saw that last season. But don't expect Damian Lillard to not get that together. Don't expect for that to be the permanent narrative about what he is. He is here to win. Similar to when Clyde Drexler went to the Houston Rockets to pair up with Hakeem Olajuwon. It was a match made in heaven. Now, fortunately, Dream and Clyde the Glide had played together in college, so they already had that chemistry. Dame has had to build chemistry from scratch. He's never played with any of these guys. But this offseason, I think the Milwaukee staff and front office has done a remarkable job of bringing in talent to support this roster. They brought in wing perimeter depth, athleticism, size, and youth to be able to play better defense and have better shooting, as well as bring in Gary Trent Jr., who was Damian Lillard's teammate in Portland, Gary Trent Jr. really broke out and showed that he was an NBA player playing alongside of Damian Lillard. And I think that chemistry is going to bode really well because knowing how to play off of somebody, knowing their strengths and weaknesses, and being able to kind of feed into it is going to improve both of their games. And as Damian Lillard finds his footing, you have to understand, as he improves his efficiency, the defense is going to automatically improve its efficiency. Because if you're scoring consistently and the opposing team is taking the ball out from under the rim, that means that they're going to have to go against a set defense every single time. This maximizes your ability to hide Damian Lillard. This maximizes your ability to funnel everybody into the 7'2", 7'7" wingspan Brook Lopez and the 6'11", 7'7" wingspan Giannis Antetokounmpo. This allows you to play to your strengths as a defense with a 6'8" Chris Middleton, right? With this significant size on the perimeter, 6'5", 6'6" Gary Trent Jr. This allows you to lock in on defense and maximize your ability to get stops. And when you get stops, what happens? You go back in transition and you catch the defense on their heels, where they have to now line up and D up, but not in position, not according to their schemes, not playing to their strengths, with what only bodes that much better for your offensive efficiency. You see how it's kind of a snowball effect. Market improvement from Damian Lillard, just getting back to who he's always been, completely transforms the outlook of this team. All of a sudden now their perimeter shooting is not lacking. It's actually amazing. Because between Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Chris Middleton, and Brook Lopez, they can go 4 out. They can have tremendous spacing. And then now Giannis gets to eat. And if you see Giannis in these Olympics, he's showing even better playmaking. The ability to read the defense and to play make for others. And as he does that with 4 shooters out there, Damian Lillard back to his old self, all of a sudden now you're going to see Giannis having that much more of an effective season. Expect him to have practically an MVP type of year once again. I honestly think that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be a number 1, number 2 seed in the East all next year. Because Damian Lillard is here to win. It's who he's always been. Who he's always been. Remember, when he's at the peak of his powers, when he's out there knocking down shots and those step back threes from 4, 5, 6 feet beyond the 3-point line and kills you every time you even think about going under a screen, right? And running that pick and roll with Giannis Antetokounmpo and running the pick and roll with Brook Lopez, getting those monster screens. All of a sudden now you're going to see a guy who's ripping you every single night, and you got to pick your poison. And Gary Trent Jr. is a volume 3-point shooter. He's much so along the lines of like a Buddy Hield. You can't leave him open, because if he gets hot, he can hit 5, 6 threes in a game regularly. He's going to take 6 to 8 threes every single game. So this team is far more effective and far more potent, and I think they're going to be able to look far more how we thought they were going to look last season, this upcoming year. And remember, even when they were struggling, they were the number 2 seed. So what do you think they're going to be this year? What do you think this team is going to look like this year? They're going to be right back at the top. Damian Lillard is going to have to remind a whole lot of people who he is. And Damian Lillard with a chip on his shoulder, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Dame Dollar, Dame time, taking over games because you can't leave Giannis, you can't leave Brook Lopez, and those pick and rolls and dribble handoffs, and you're having to navigate who do you stick with, the Greek Freak or Dame time? And then you have that shooting out there. I mean, don't forget, now they got all the bench depth and everyone else that they brought in, Taurean Prince. You still got, Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton, and I think Marjon Beauchamp is going to be better this year. Andre Jackson. They got all these young guys. They have a team. They have a team. DeLon Wright, backup point guard, point of attack defender, who could play alongside of Dame as well as behind him and set up the show. Yo, this team is not playing. They're here for one reason: a championship. And if I'm you, I wouldn't sleep on them. And definitely don't sleep on Damian Lillard. But as always, I want to know what you all think. If you agree, disagree, smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Drop this video in your group chats, maybe on Twitter, and holler at me in the comments section and let me know what you think, because I'm going to get back at you there. Peace.